Today I want to talk about Raesjon Davis and his impending decision about where he might be thinking about playing college football and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. So it's college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about 4-star top 50 linebacker Raesjon Davis, who, after having been committed to LSU for some time, decided to reopen his recruitment and has since seen a bunch of crystal balls go his way toward USC. Makes sense. He plays high school football at Mater Dei. He is a Monarch, and that is a noted pipeline to the Trojans. But he also took a visit to Columbus to see Ohio State. Ohio State is in a very good position with this. They got maybe 2 spots available, perhaps one for Raesjon Davis, perhaps one for JT Tuimoloau, another top 50 player who is going to have to make a decision about where he wants to play college football. But the reason I think that Raesjon Davis is particularly interesting here is because of what he had to say following his visit to Columbus, comparing Mater Dei to Ohio State. As a matter of fact, the full quote is, "In terms of culture and the structure of the program, Ohio State reminds me a lot of Mater Dei. They're about winning and developing there. Everyone is really focused on that one common goal and being around them. You can tell they're building something special." Comes Greg Biggins over 247 Sports, who does an extremely good job covering West Coast recruiting. Raesjon Davis is the latest in a string of dozens of Mater Dei Monarchs who have gone on to play outstanding college football and seen some success in the NFL. JT Daniels is a Monarch. He's at Georgia, first started at USC. Bryce Young, he was a Monarch. He's in Alabama, committed to USC. Jeremiah Cradell, safety at Oklahoma, was at Mater Dei. Darian Green-Warren was a cornerback at Mater Dei. He's a corner now at Michigan. We can keep going down the line, right? I'm sure many of you can name all sorts of Mater Dei Monarchs, but that's kind of the point, right? That is the tradition that he comes out of. That is how good they have been at producing outstanding linebacking talent. Now, Raesjon Davis is super versatile. 6'1", about 220. Runs really well sideline to sideline. Projects as an outside linebacker right now. Sort of like a Baron Browning type if you're looking to slot him on the Ohio State depth chart. But while I think Ohio State's a player here, I think USC is still the team to beat. The kids that come out of SoCal are looking for a reason to play at USC. They are looking for a reason to put on those colors, either because they grow up close to the area and the LA Coliseum is right there next to them, or because they know what it used to be when Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush and Dwayne Jarrett and Pete Carroll had it on and popping. Lindell White gets missed in all of this. I mean, that thunder and lightning combination was something else. But really, I'm always struck by this fact. Ray Malaluga, friggin' Brian Cushing, and friggin' Clay. Oh, my God. Like, that was one of the most ridiculous linebacking cores I've ever seen, right? And we could have all said perhaps it was Clay that was the least likely to be an NFL success, and that becomes one of the better pass rushers in all of the NFL. Now, I also think that it's interesting to point out here that the recruiting rankings would get an adjustment with Raesjon Davis choosing to commit to USC or Ohio State, and not in so insignificant a fashion. If he committed to Ohio State, that would raise their score total to 313.93 with 22 commits. That would still put them in second place. That would close the gap just a little bit on Alabama, who has opened up a tremendous lead with over 323 points. Now, if he were to commit to USC, that would allow SC to jump from number 8 in the rankings to number 7 ahead of Texas A&M at a score of 279.31 and 22 commits. Now, the other part to think about is just the kind of run that Clay Helton and that staff would have been on in the last, really, just 4 weeks. Corey Foreman committing to USC, tremendous. Damani Jackson committing to USC, tremendous. They got a Raesjon Davis to close that out in a month's time. You can't ask for a better run if you're a USC fan, especially coming off of how they finished in 2020 in their recruiting. Clay Helton choosing to revamp his staff, adding guys like Marshall Sherrington, as those dudes that can help you secure these top talents in the SoCal area, because I have believed for some time that if SC or UCLA, for that matter, just decided to recruit their area and just work inside out, they ought to be a top 10 team every year on talent alone. And when they get coaching, they're special. They're also adding to a tremendous roster already with transfers like Xavier Alford coming from Texas to SC, Keontae Ingram coming from Texas to SC. They are trying to load up to actually make a run at this thing next year after knowing that they can get to the Pac-12 championship, not being able to get over the hump past an Oregon team that didn't even win its division to win the Pac-12 championship. You know that you got the pieces. You know that you have the foundation. You have the stability in place to try to make a go at this thing. And if that means you got to go scooping up 4-star transfers from Texas while also adding to this with some really outstanding talent at your freshman, sophomore level, then you go do it, and you go do it quick, fast, and in a hurry, because that matters, right? In a way that I don't know that a lot of people talk about in a meaningful manner. So the reason that we focus so much on 4 stars and 5 stars and blue chips is because those are the teams for which we are watching to win championships, both at the conference level and at the national level. There's a reason why Bud Elliott's blue chip ratio gets commented upon so often. It's because it's right. If you have this many blue chips, you have a chance to win a national championship. If you have more 4-star and 5-star players than the teams that you're playing, you're going to be in a position to win championships. Alabama became that team using this philosophy. When I was in high school, Alabama was a joke. We made jokes about Alabama. We didn't respect the tradition of the Tide because they did not give us a reason to respect Tide tradition. We went from Mike Price to Mike Shula making jokes, and Nick Saban decided, no, I'm going to go get Julio Jones. I'm going to go get Mark Ingram. I'm going to build a dynasty on the backs of 4 and 5-star players. And if you look at their 1 through 85 versus anybody else's 1 through 85, you're going to see they got you. The only other team that competes with them in the last 4 years is Georgia, which we can make an argument is doing a lot of little with a lot, right? We can look at Georgia up and down and we say, you should have won at least one national championship here in the last 4 years. And I believe Kirby Smart is starting to feel a little bit of that heat going into what I think is a championship window for Georgia and for Oklahoma. But if Raesjon Davis were to choose to commit to SC over Ohio State, that would only fuel what I believe to be the growing expectation that Clay Helton needs to not just win the Pac-12 championship again, but get a Pac-12 team to the college football playoff for the first time in several years. We got to go back to Washington in 2016 for the last time that happened. You will have the tools, you will have the players, you will have the coaching. You just got to go get it. All right, that's it for me. Doses.